Let's start. Can anybody hear me clearly?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Let us start. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar, From Chaos to Clarity, Leveraging Effective Press Releases to Combat Cybersecurity Misinformation. I know it's a mouthful. It really is a mouthful, but it has all the right keywords. So I hope you are all as interested as I am in today's topic. Let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Rane Hafid. You can call me Rane. I'm currently a podcaster based in Jakarta. I've also spent over 20 years of my life as a journalist. I was based in several countries from Jakarta, Singapore, Tokyo, Kuala Lumpur, a few stints in Manila before moving to a different line of career in digital PR and advertising agency based in Bangkok. And now here I am back in my home country, Jakarta, and running a digital production house and agency in Jakarta. So that's briefly about me. I would like to say that I assure you this is going to be a very interesting and fruitful session. I, for one, really looking forward to this session because we live in a world where we encounter misinformation like every other day or perhaps every other minute. So we are going to discuss challenges related to the spread of misinformation, especially in the context of cybersecurity. And also misinformation can cause confusion, fear, and even financial loss individually and also business. So how do we manage that? What are the types of misinformation? What are cybersecurity misinformation, and how do we manage such situations? These are the things that we are going to discuss. Let me just check quickly. We have quite a huge turnout today. Thank you very much. Over 60 people right now. Okay. First, let me introduce you to our two distinguished speaker today. And it so happens that both has the same name. First of all, logging all the way in from the Netherlands, we have Ferry Harris, CEO of FEHA International Consulting. Ferry, how are you?
I'm doing well. A bit sleepy because it's still very early on my side.
What time is it in Netherlands right now?
Now it's still 8 o'clock, but you know, I woke up quite late because last night I was sleeping quite late as well.
Yeah, it's really early in Netherlands right now, but really appreciate for you to join this session. And second, the second Ferry, of course, is Ferry Bayu, co-founder and CEO of VRITIMES Inc. Do I spell that correctly? VRITIMES, VRITIMES?
VRITIMES is but
Free
it's okay.
times.
Hi.
Cool.
Thank you,
Thank you for
thank you,
joining.
Mr. Rane. Great,
Yes.
great. Thank you very much.
All right. So
Thank you for inviting.
I can expect us to have a very fruitful session today. Okay. I guess we can just start. Okay, let me lay down the some ground rules here for those participants. Please turn off your microphone and your cameras during the session. But for those who are really keen to ask questions to our two panelists, of course, we will give a chance after each of the presentation. So there will be a Q&A session. You will be required to open your camera and ask the question directly to the panelist, or if you're shy or it's still too early for you and you haven't bathed or whatever, you can just use the chat section. Okay. So let me just start with Ferry Harris. Ferry.
Sure.
Okay, a brief introduction first. So
all right.
I'm just going to ask you this question. Has it ever occurred to all of us in the audience here to ask the big question, how, instead of why? Perhaps by understanding how cybersecurity misinformation works, we could be more focused in our effort to combat them. So Ferry is the right person to talk about this. And he's so fluent in this issue. So without further ado, over to you, Ferry. You have around 25 minutes for the presentation.
Cool. Thank you, Rani, and thank you also VRITIMES to invite me for the event. I think I'll start with the questions of how. To be very honest, the how is something that I can talk about as one course, I guess, in full. So I think let me start with a disclaimer that today I'm just going to, scratch the surface. I know it might not be what you want to hear, but because the thing is, the topic is so huge. So cybersecurity itself is already a very broad, as a discipline, and then misinformation is completely a different world, and it also requires not just from a collaboration from security part, but also sometimes sociology, psychology, and and friends. So I tried to share my presentation if it's okay. Can you see it as full screen? Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. So once again, thank you everybody for having me. Yeah, my name is Ferry. I'm based in Amsterdam, Netherlands. As you might seen, I might be back and forth in my presentation simply because right now I'm standing. Because if not, I'm going to fall asleep. I went to bed around 2 o'clock last night, so bear with me, all right? So who we are a security company based in Amsterdam as our headquarters. At the moment, we do have our team members in Asia, especially in Indonesia. We work remotely. Everybody's working sometimes in their pajamas. um, at the moment, we are working with small, medium businesses, startups, enterprises, but most of them are in Europe and in the US. So if you don't know any of these names, that's also fine. We are starting to coming to the Asia and Middle East region. And so basically starting now, I guess, and in the coming year, you will hear more about us, hopefully. So, keep us in your mind, and then hopefully when I visit the region, I will also have a chance to meet you at your campus, for example, because I just realized that most of you are students at the moment. So once again, thank you that you are spending your Saturday weekend with us instead of with your friends. All right. So when I approach for the first time about the topic, I have difficulties to find the idea behind the whole discussion. The reason being is because for most people, we just call everything as misinformation. But in my line of work, there is a difference between misinformation and disinformation. If you only talk about misinformation as in like, okay, these are the false information about affecting our election, for example, I think that's most discussion all about in the region, or about the war. Actually, those are considered disinformation. Because if you look into the dictionary, whether it's Merriam-Webster or Cambridge, actually both are false information. But then the difference is in the intention. Misinformation is sometimes what we call as hoax. Basically, someone heard something and then they tell this information to someone else without checking the truthfulness of the information, and it replicates. There is no bad intention from the person who, put that into the public the first place. It's just misinformation. But then if the intention is really to disrupt a brand or to discriminate a person deliberately, then it's already moved to the bucket what we call as disinformation. Because in disinformation, everything is about the intention that the person or the group or whoever, I think most of you would like to hear state-sponsored actors. It is by intention that they are spreading the information, the false information, to disrupt, let's say, an election. I think that's most topic that people discuss, or even to ruin someone else's brand if you are an organization. Or actually, if you are a student, then if your friends deliberately or by intention actually spread false information about yourself, then we go to the other bucket, which is the disinformation. However, for this discussion, let's just consider everything as misinformation, because I think that's what most people easy to remember. Because if not, then we will have a terminology discussion for for 1 hour. And then most of the misinformation that we've seen, either it ruins someone else's reputations, sometimes it's operations disruption. So one of the experience I have is actually one of our clients, is one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the Netherlands. There was a point, I think last year, somewhere in November, where there was a lot of misinformation about their services and how they secure people's account. And actually, we can see that the transaction drops because people taking out their money out of the exchange, or they just don't want to transact anymore. And that also, of course, ruins the company's reputation, but eventually it impacts their financials, right? So whichever impact that these misinformations can lead to, that's not what we are going to discuss today. When Rene asked about the how, it's not something new, right? We talk about the social media algorithms, for example, depending on your feeds, depending on what you put into your social media feeds, then that's also what the algorithms will give you. The more that you consume false information, actually, or unfortunately, you will get more of it, right? And then we talk about the low digital literacy, confirmation bias, especially nowadays, that I believe this is right. Whatever you say, it's wrong. Then the more you interact with that, the more you see that post in front of you, then it like kind of give you a boost that, oh, everything confirmed my belief, right? And then of course the speed of informations, and just like this information, yes, there are certain actors that actually put that information intentionally. All right. So the how, at the moment, mostly through social media. We are not talking about the dark web discussion at the moment, or the discussion that we are also monitoring on a chat rooms in Telegram, for example, right? But at least if you see the service, the one that you can see, yeah, because the dark web sometimes most people don't see, these are the items that drive misinformation. But the biggest problem, if we talk about 2024, which actually already started since last year, is about AI.
Tak
Alright?
makan lagi. Malam kalau baru makan nasi goreng.
Bolehlah kita makan nasi goreng, nanti kita lanjut dulu dengan presentasi, okay? Thank you. Just kidding. So why AI is a big problem right now? So as you know, with the advancement of AI, actually, and by the way, I'm not saying that you shouldn't use AI. We in our company, we also use AI. All right. So use it, but use it responsibly. The problem right now is, and related to the low digital literacy, with a low digital literacy and equipped with AI, the amount of content, the amount of information being produced is a lot more faster, much larger than we can think before. So faster and larger. So if you have misinformation, actually it will spread faster and into the broader spectrum of the society. And the problem, even, whether you realize this or not, one AI is always trained based on the available information. So if one AI is becoming intelligent because of the public information, so if they only consume false information, then whatever the output will be incorrect. And to make it more exponential, the problem, I personally are very concerned about what we call as Habsburg AI. So if you want to go to Google, what does Habsburg AI? It's easy a definition. Basically, when one AI is relying on other AI and they consume the wrong information from that AI, then actually the AI itself, not just the source, but the second layer, the third layer of the AI engine, becomes very, very much unreliable. And sorry to say, this is what we are seeing in Twitter, for example, where basically all the data is coming from what you tweet. So if you tweet something wrong, then Grok will just consume everything. And the more you train Grok with your tweet, the further it goes to the wrong direction. And then if there's another AI that use Grok as reference, that becomes very, very difficult to stop, right? So remember, all the factors driving misinformation is already there for so many years. But then now with AI, and we know it's already misinformation, and then now you generate the misinformation with AI, everything becomes exponential. So pay attention to this term called Habsburg AI, right? I think this is something that we will see in the coming, I think, less than 12 months, 18 months. Because for some engine that we manage for our clients, we already see some hallucination. And not just hallucination as in like an old information, but hallucination in terms of the wrong information. Typically, companies, especially large corporations, they have what they call as reputation management playbook, right? What shall we do if someone is trying to spread false information about us, right? Sometimes they have a dedicated firm, or they buy very expensive software to manage the communications and crisis. They also pay a lot of money for media monitoring, whether it's traditional media or social media. They pay whether it's software, and also a firm, what we call as operational reputation management service, which, by the way, some of our clients use them. And then when it comes to security, because people are so paranoid, oh, we want to know what's actually people talk about our company. Are they trying to attack our company? Then they also buy what we call as dark web monitoring service, just based on keywords, whether it's the keywords of the company, the brand name, the CEO name, most of the time, because they believe, especially if their CEO is a public figure, then mostly people will chat about them as well, right? Then actually right now, one of our client is using what we call as online reputation management and legal service. Why? Because if the scanner see that someone else is trying to make false information about this client, they literally send the lawyers to chase them. So there's already an element of legal service in this discussion as well. But then, as I mentioned earlier, this is more reactive because you are waiting for something to happen, whether it's in the normal web, Web 2.0, or in the dark web, right? You wait until someone happen. You wait until something happen. You wait until someone is talking about you incorrectly. And then it's all expensive. I can guarantee you, because we also spend a lot of money just to buy the license to serve our clients for this one. Because of this, most of us, let's say the normal people, people with a small budget in terms of security, small, medium businesses, we don't really have a tool, let's say, how to combat this. Because even, let's be honest, if you are working as a social media manager, for example, for a company, for organization, or even for your university, what is the most important thing that you monitor? Mostly about, okay, if I, send people about this a new event, is this going to be viral or not? If I have a new product line, is this going to be viral or not? Most of us and most businesses, especially small businesses, will focus on the element of virality related to their product. So all this that we have just discussed before may not be relevant, may not be as part of your day-to-day operations until something really bad or something really big negatively affect your business come to your attention. The keyword is come to your attention. If it never comes to your attention, then again, let's focus on virality of our social media posts. Because of this, for many clients, we try to shift the discussion from cybersecurity to cyber resilience. The reason being is because when people talk about cybersecurity, most people talk about the technical part of it. How we secure our part, how we, brought all these services to monitor dark web. Everything is about technical. How we protect about our network, how we protect our cloud environment, everything about technical protection. But actually, what most, if not all, organization needs is cyber resilience, including ourselves as personal, right? Because cyber resilience is all about what I call here as organizational perception. Yeah, it can also be used as individual perception. Why? For example, how many of you have received an email from, let's say, have I been pawned, and then said that, oh, your password or your account has been breached by LinkedIn on certain year? The question is that a problem? If it's not a problem for you, because, for example, you turn on your multi-factor authentication, or actually that one is using a very old password of mine, then from a cyber perspective, you are resilient. You can still proceed. You can still continue with, quote unquote, with your life. If you are not, then you are not resilient, because maybe all your contacts, all your friends are in that account, so then you can no longer access that account. Then you are not resilient anymore, because you cannot run your business, you cannot run your activities, you cannot conduct your study, for example. And that's what our discussion should be moving forward. It's not about the cybersecurity, because nothing wrong with that, but most people are focusing on technical. The only non-technical element when it comes to cybersecurity is always, if you remember, human is the weakest link. That's the only thing I've heard, which I don't agree, by the way, but at least that's what I hear. When it comes to cybersecurity, everybody talks about how we do hacking, how we do secure this, how do we secure that in terms of a network, cloud, blah, 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 all about technical. But most of us don't deal with that every single day. Most of us also don't care, right? So it's about cyber resilience, how we are living in the cyber world at the moment, resilient enough that whatever hit us, we are able to continue. So what I always say to my clients is that, guys, when it comes to misinformations, you have to get ahead of them. you cannot just wait. You need to be proactive. And nowadays, for most business-to-business services, this is what we always push. Every single website that my clients have, I always push what we call as having trust page. Because this simple page, it tells people that, hey, this is what we do internally. This is not what we do internally, right? At least you are ahead of before people ask what you do, we are ahead of them. The only thing that I always said is make it prominent. Sometimes, especially in Asia, when it comes to talking about security or what they do or what they don't do, you put all the information way down with a very small font, like seems like you are not confident enough. If you have a logo of your, let's say, recently you got the ISO certification, for example, you put it a very small logo at the bottom of your website footnote. No, be confident with what you want and also what you don't have actually, and show it visibly, right? But then don't overpromise. Many cases, I found that when I do the due diligence for new service, especially small businesses or startups, my first question is, okay, you said that you use encryption for your data flow. You said you use a TLS 1.2. Apparently, they just copy paste from somewhere else. And then when I do a technical scan, no, it's actually only TLS 1.0 and 1.1. So the lessons learned here is that, yes, you need to be ahead of everybody. You need to make it visible to everybody, but don't put false information because this is what we are talking about in the first place, right? And then when it comes to social content, it's no longer the time that if you are working as a security department, security team, security functions, actually you need to partner up with your marketing team. Your message to the public shouldn't be only for we have a new feature, we have a new, let's say, free giveaway. No. Public informations about, misinformation that affect your organization, you also have to get ahead of it. And then you need to, quote unquote, flood the information in your social content as well, saying that, oh, this is hoax, this is not right, everything is fine. And even when you try to promote a new feature, also always try to enter a security element in it. So for example, one of the client, the crypto exchange that I talked about earlier, when they launch a new feature about their magic link, so that people don't need to, username, password, and kind of stuff, we also force the marketing team to add why this magic link is secure. So not just saying that, oh, now we have a new features, then we introduce a magic link, so you don't need to enter your username and password manually. No, we also tell them why this new feature is secure for you instead of others. And why with this magic link, you don't need to worry because we do A, B, C, D, E. So you give that trust ahead. You give that trust before something happens. And my message is always show up the way employees and customers want. If your employees and customers always active in social media, yeah, don't give them announcements as if you are writing a newspaper article. If they like to watch, let's say, short videos or carousel in your in their social media, then be like that in your message. The reason why I said this is because somehow, I don't know why, when it comes to security message, when it comes trying to protect your brand, trying even during a crisis, yeah, even during a crisis when everybody already talk negatively about you, most of the message is very, very formal, like a newspaper type of article. And people won't read it. Maybe even now people don't go to the media because they are busy in the social media, right? So show up the way your audience want you to show up. And then, like I said, yes, everything is expensive mostly when it comes to listening about what people chat about. But then actually you already have a very good agent to help you and your organization. For example, if you already have a marketing team who, you know, have a tool that they use to monitor a sentiment about your product, about your brand, ask them as well to configure or find a keyword that is related to security. And encourage your employee, encourage your students in this case in campus, if they find something wrong about your campus, about your organizations, found somewhere, then allow them, encourage them to report it back to you. But then you also have to make it easy to report. In Europe, most critical services and all government agencies' website now have mandatory to put security.txt on their server. The reason being is because from a security point of view, so that if people like me who do the scanning, who do the research, found something about that organization, it's easy for us to contact their security team. So now it becomes mandatory. Because before, sometimes we are difficult, like who to contact. The contact form is very generic, like, info at or contact at. No, we want to go straight to the security team, ask them to handle this. And internally, we also help always people, okay, if you always talk about, okay, let's have a ticketing to talk about some bugs or a service goes down, then also add this topic as part of your reporting tickets. Again, encourage your team members to report, but at the same time, you have to make it easy to report. And last but not least, related to the AI content, unfortunately, this is something that we also still working on, to be very honest, but the only message that we always have at the moment is, if you are working with AI, use it to your benefit, but always make sure that the information that you put is right. Because then, unfortunately, especially if you are using the free version of ChatGPT or Cloud, if you use the free version, if you read the terms and condition, actually you are giving the right for them to train their model based on whatever your input is. So if you are using them, make sure to help the AI also doing the right thing, then input the right information, right? It's the same with social media. Now, every single social media platform, whether we talk about TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, I don't know if we are still using Facebook, by the way, X, you name it, they are all introducing their AI engine. They are using the interaction in the social media channel to train their AI. So last to close my presentation is, this is also something that we are working on internally, but then it is not in our roadmap for this year, but it is starting next year. So we want to help small organizations, especially in Southeast Asia and Middle East, to have access to the services that I mentioned before, but with more affordable effort, I would say. But then we also want to embed this to all services that we have. And the idea is, we want to make sure that going forward, startups, small businesses, they have one single pane of glass that they can manage their security. And as you can see, it's not just about security, talking about the policy, about the technical stuff like we do security scanning, but also about the security management. So we want to embed this to all services that we have. And the idea is, we want to make sure that going forward, startups, small businesses, they have one single pane of glass that they can manage their security. And as you can see, it's not just about security, talking about the policy, about the technical stuff like we do security scanning, but all the items related to a human, how to improve a human expertise or awareness, we're also going to embed that in our product because, like I said, we cannot just talk about technical items, but also we talk about cyber as resilience as a whole. So that's all from me. If you have any questions, I'm open for anything.
All right. Thank you, Ferry. Before we continue, I would, just for the sake of this discussion, so it could run smoothly and no confusion, I'm going to call you FEHA from now on.
Sure, no problem.
There are two ferries here, so
All right.
because I
Fair
know
enough.
that's people, you're more familiar with that name, right, FEHA, and your company is FEHA International Consulting.
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to go into question and answers. Please identify your name and institution. You can either raise hand on Zoom, or you can also type it on the chat section. But before that, I just would like to say that I found Feha very fluent about the topic of cybersecurity, and most importantly, he has a different, if I may say so, yet an interesting point of view on cybersecurity, something which I dare to say is not a sexy topic. Feha. We tend to leave everything to the IT guys, just leave it to them. They do all the work, right? Now I can see you smiling there. But then Feha came up with a concept of cyber resilience. This, guys, is an interesting point of view. To me, at least in my perception, it's more proactive, involve everyone within the organization. So again, it's very interesting. I remember that Feha came to one of my podcast episodes. I think it was like a month ago. Um, Actually, my podcast is about books, so we talk a lot about his favorite books, but we end up talking about cybersecurity because I was so much interested. To be honest, I am the one, one of those who always say that like cybersecurity, leave it to Feha and his team and the cybersecurity guys. So yeah, guilty in that sense. So okay, we'll be waiting for your question. Raise your hand on Zoom or type it on the chat section. But while we're waiting, Feha, can you just explain a bit about FEHA International Consulting? What, because you mentioned something about helping the small and business enterprise, something new again for me, because usually all these cybersecurity companies, they go all for the big companies, the huge, you know, famous companies, but you also aim for the small and business. How does that work?
So let's start with this. I've spent 15 years working for corporates. And of course, personally, it's like, okay, I need something fun. So I see that actually startup and small businesses are more fun than corporate. Sorry, my dear employers. I'm not saying that I don't have fun working with you. No, I just, but then one thing that I realized that if we look into the reality of economics everywhere, yeah, not just in Europe or in the US, everywhere, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Philippines, I dare to say that actually more than 90% are startups and small and medium-sized businesses.
Mhm.
Only a fractions are actually large corporations, right? Basically, those that are above 3,000 employees. Their challenge is so complex that requires so many technical and non-technical solutions. So for technical solutions, they always buy whatever product, whether it's from CrowdStrike, Palo Alto. Sorry if I, if I have to say the brand now, because I want to show that why they are expensive, and these names are also expensive, by the way. So Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, basically they are the vanilla of everything in this cybersecurity world. They are so good. I mean, don't get me wrong. The solution is so good because they are able, or they are designed, or they are created to support such a complex environment.
Mhm.
But again, for the most 90% of those, let's say, organizations, sometimes they just sell T-shirt online. That's it. Or, okay, I open an order. I can cook at home and then I sell it to my friends or to my family, or I, in the public marketplace. But then no one really helps them because most of small medium business cannot afford CrowdStrike.
Mhm.
But then if they fall, as in fall a victim for scam, mostly scam, if we talk about misinformation, and then phishing and that kind of stuff, they stop earning money,
Yep.
right? So if you rely on Facebook Marketplace, if you rely on Instagram to sell your services, and you cannot access it anymore, you stop. Your revenue stop. Your lifeline stop. And because of that, since the beginning of this company, we thought, actually, we need to help them.
Okay.
Because their, quote unquote, their challenge or their problem is not as complex as the bigger company,
Mhm.
a similar concept of the solution for bigger company, we can tone it down so that the solution can be priced better as well for this layer of the market. My analogy is always like this. If you only use typewriter and you never need something fancy like
Mhm.
formatting or that kind of stuff, when you move to digital, actually you only need Notepad, okay, WordPad at most. You don't really need Microsoft Word, right?
Okay.
So if I give to this layer of the market Notepad and it's good enough for them, then actually now everybody can type, not just those who have money to buy typewriter. Yes. So basically, that's the same principles that we have in our company. So how can we help the layer that is unserved everywhere in the world, not just for Asia or Europe, like everywhere, because it's the same problem everywhere. Because one of the perk that I have working 15 years is actually I travel to 52 countries. So how we can help this everywhere, but then with something that is good enough for them in order for them to be able to afford it. So that's always the principles in the way we work, at least internally.
Right.
I hope that's answered.
Cool. Guys, for you in Indonesia, come to Jakarta this October. If you wanted to meet Ferry, because he's sponsoring one of a huge event in Jakarta related to what was it again? FEHA?
Tech in Asia, Jakarta.
Tech in Asia.
Yeah.
Tech in Asia. So please do come to Jakarta this October, or you're in the Philippines, you can also come and join this huge event, because Ferry is one of the FEHA International Consulting is the one also sponsoring this event, and he in person will be there with his
Yep.
popular coffee.
Also,
Okay. So we're still waiting for questions. Anyone? You can type them in your chat box, in the chat box of this Zoom application, or you can just open your mic. We'll try to make it an informal session, but yet please make use of this moment to gain more understanding about the issues of cybersecurity and misinformation, because sometimes it's something really we take for granted, but then until something happens, then we know that it's really really vital. It's very really important, especially for us in Indonesia after the cyber breach with the Ministry of Information. That was not only a wake-up call, That's more than a wake-up call. Suddenly we're set to realize that, man, cybersecurity is important, not only for those IT people, not only for those government and that they are making use of. All right, I'm still waiting for any other question. If not, we're going to save that for the discussion session. Going once, going twice. Okay. If not, Feha, you can just sit down first. I know you have been standing up for. He has this habit of standing up during every presentation. So please grab your nasi goreng and because we're going to
Thank you.
the next session.
All right,
So
thank you very much.
all right. See you soon in the discussion session. So guys, one thing that we know for sure about the spread of misinformation is it spreads so fast, like wildfires, even faster. And this, as Ferry has mentioned, potentially jeopardize our business, jeopardize us also individually, especially a business, of course. Now, how do we manage such situation? How do we engage with the media, engage with the public? Because once the information is out there, no matter it's right or false, it's out there. So how do we manage that? And this is interesting because for our next speaker, we will also talk about how do we craft an effective press release to address and counter issues of misinformation. Again, like cybersecurity press release, sometimes it's something that we tend to take for granted. I, as a journalist for 20 years, I have received a lot of types of press release, but then it was just like, okay, cool, that's it. So how do we craft a very interesting press release that would get the attention of the media, get attention of the public? Now, we will learn how press releases play an important role in countering the misinformation um, through quick and accurate clarification. Organizations can provide consistent information, build public trust, and respond to crisis effectively. And boy, I have the right person for you here. So the next Ferry, Ferry Bayu, a CEO of and co-founder of Free Times. Ferry?
Hello.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Rane. Thank you.
All right, fair.
Okay. Hmm.
Before we start, a brief introduction about Free Times, please.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Rane, and thank you, everyone that's attending the webinar. So basically, we are a press release distribution service, and we serve mostly our customer are startup, SME, and NGO. Why? Because our price are very affordable, and I will introduce later in my presentation. But
Mhm.
basically, our price is very affordable that we can help the startup and SME, and we have a lot of customer that already using our services. Mm.
Cool. All right. So it's over to you, Ferry.
Okay, thank you for your time. So let me just help to share my screen here. Okay, so yeah, I think I already shared my screen. Okay, so so first of all, let's dig deep into the topic that we are going to discuss today. The first is that how press release can help to combat the cybersecurity misinformation. So, let's talk about the misinformation. Yeah, I think me and Ferry have the same idea about misinformation. So it came from a lot of sources, right? Like cognitive biases or word of mouth, social media, clickbait, people going for sensationalism or other things. And then it affects the society. It means that people are, bombarded by this kind of misinformation, then how can they know whether this news is real, fake, or something? That is why the company or the person that is being fake out with this news must issue a press release. Okay, so the press release is it goes through several different media, right? News media like their official website, social media, YouTube, and other means, right? This will clarify to the society and it will help close down the misinformation. Now, As Ferry also has mentioned, there are a lot of social media, close media monitoring like that. We can also monitor on that how effective is our press release. But basically, this is the framework and the concept how press release can negate the misinformation created by a lot of sources, right? So this is just a study case of how effective the press releases helps for the misinformation. So, for example, during the COVID era, so yeah, there are rumors that the vaccine can cause severe effects that people don't want to get vaccinated because of this or something, or yeah, there's a lot of rumors, right? So in order to respond to this misinformation, the government, Indonesian government, along with the health organization, they publish a series of press release, official statement to educate the public, and we got a high rate of vaccination rate, right? And relating to the data security, so there are also like customer. It's a company called BRI. BRI is a very famous bank in Indonesia for those of you that is outside of Indonesia. So they are also selling they are also selling insurance, and then they got some people say that I breach your data and I can sell it in the dark web or something. So then BRI issued a statement like how to comfort the clients and everything. They issue a statement that their cybersecurity team is tracking the accident and emphasize that and also working with the financial service authority and the police in order to negate these kind of things. So yeah, this is one of the things that needs to be done by the company. It means that they must comfort and they must give assurance to the people that, hey, we are working on this. It means that they are responsible. They issue calmness to the affected people. Okay. So now we will discuss two things: how we engage with the media and how we engage with the public. Okay. So how we engage with media. So, relevance wins when it comes to getting their attention. It means that when we are going to issue a press release, make sure that we deliver it to the right person. If we are going into the cybersecurity, we better go to the cybersecurity journalist or the tech journalist. If we go to the sports journalist, then nobody will see it, right? So it must be relevant to whom do we send, or the media itself, right? Like media in the tech or the general media, uh, you know, that have the text section, it will be good for them. Okay. The second is what is that as you can see, journalists every day receive a lot of press release. So that is why they cannot read one by one, right? So we must have our press release being eye-catching to them from the first time they see our first page, top page. So that's why we have to get graphic photo. Okay, so photo or graphic will get the power of visual storytelling. It will get their attention, and if they are interested, then they will read the rest. And also back it up with data. Okay, so yeah, this is very important because uh, if you publish it with data, it is more convincing, and it is a sure thing that you have done your research and everything. Okay, and yeah, please avoid this kind of blacklist behavior. So, for example, yeah, providing inaccurate information that is not backed up with data, and then pitch that is very hard selling because this is press release. It's not an advertisement. Yeah, and following up repeatedly, or dodging inquiries. For example, if the journalist asks, then you seems like to dodge. The lack of transparency is not there, right? Now, how do we issue the press release to be conveyed to the public? Okay, so the first one, keep it simple, because our readers, mostly we don't know the level of our readers, right? So we assume that all people, the general society will read our news, right? And they don't have time to read all the news that we publish. So keep it simple, like maximum like 300, 400 words is already enough. And make it credible. And then next is that, show empathy and competency. Okay. Show empathy is like during the BRI case that I showed to you just now. You can see that they uh, show that we are working with the police and we are working with the uh, Indonesian financial institution in order to make sure that this doesn't happen and to capture the one that is being sold, to the one that sold the data. So this one we show empathy. We say we apologize and we are if this we are investigating and this kind of thing we show empathy and we show competency also by making sure that we are dealing with this kind of things. Yeah, and make it share worthy. Yeah, of course we must make it share worthy, so so this will be shared to the other people, and then it will spread it by other people too. Now, after you create the press release, so you will set goals, right? So you will set goals. Now, what is the goals of your press release? So first you have to identify the objective, and then you should define your metric. Define metric means that, for example, I want to have like this kind of click, this kind of how many media. Maybe simple to say, let's say that, oh, I want to get covered by 100 media, for example. Yeah, that is we define our metrics. Then we set our goals. So and then lastly we evaluate, like, do we got how many clicks? Do we got 100 media or something? Yeah, we must have something like that. That is how to define. Now, maybe a little bit about VRITIME. So after all the explanation, I would like to explain to you a little bit about our company. And basically the one that I shared to you about uh, how to talk to the journalist, how to deliver to the journalist, how to deliver to the customer. We can in VRITIMES, do that. Okay, so we are a media platform that connect your press release with a journalist. Okay, and then so why we start this business? So we felt that the local journalist is not receiving the local press release. And then the price of the distribution is very expensive. That's why we started this business. So maybe you are guys wondering what is press releases. Okay, so let me introduce a little bit about press releases. So press releases is a part of the public relation activity. Okay, public relation is something that you distribute to the media, that the media find values in the information that you send out. For example, the one that the BRI case or the COVID-19 case, that that contains news values, right? The press releases. So that is public relation. It is not advertising. Okay, you don't say on the PR, on the press release, like we have a discount 50% product. No, it's not something like that. Okay, so that's why the public relation cost should be very low. It's not high. It's not like advertisement high, but the persuasiveness is high because you have value of the news. That's why the persuasiveness is high. Advertising is low because as long as you pay very highly, that it will be publicized, right? So yeah, and but the controllability is low. It means that you don't have the control of when your press release will be published or whether it will be guaranteed published or not, something like that. Okay, now that's why, since the cost is very low, so it should be low from the first I explained. That's why in VRITIMES, we are very price affordable. For example, in the Philippines, it's only 990 peso. We guarantee it will be published in at least 50 media, or Indonesia, 400,000. It will be guaranteed published in 100 media. That's the basic of our business, to make it affordable to the society. And in VRITIMES, it's very simple. We are very, automated. So you guys, the company can create an account and then publish the press release by themselves. Okay. And then we will give you this kind of dashboard, the result. And then lastly, we will give you this kind of report. So for example, your press release was published in 120 media. Then we will give you the name of the media and the link of the article so you can check by yourself. Yeah. And yeah, press release is maybe if I can say press release is something related to your company news. You have new product, you have event, you have partnership agreement, you have something to say about your company, then you can publish a press release. So if you have any questions about times or everything, you can visit our website or email us, or we can also WhatsApp on our website as well. Okay, I think that's it, Mr. Rane, my presentation for today. So yeah, thank you. Oh, you're still
We
mute,
l-
Pak.
we lost our moderator. Okay.
Yeah, he's still on mute, I think. Oh,
I believe so. No, I mean, if not, then if I may ask a question, then
yeah, please,
uh,
please.
because I'm not accustomed about how the media landscape is in Southeast Asia. How is it with in terms of reachability of press releases in the, let's say, traditional and online media nowadays in Southeast Asia? The reason being is because here in Europe, most people don't really use a media anymore for press release because they know most people don't read it anymore. So actually, the last press release I got about one business yesterday, actually they literally send a printed A5 brochure, and then they put it in the people's mailbox. But the
I
content is
see.
literally a press release. So how is it now, press release, let's say, landscape and media in Southeast Asia? How effective it is still?
Okay, how effective? So maybe let me try to explain like this. So as you know, when something for example, when something bad happened, they say like for example, oh, there's a news on X or Twitter or Instagram. Hey, you know, I think this COVID vaccination can cause you to get cancer, something like that. Okay, then how do you find out if this information was real or not? Right? You go to the you go to the traditional media to check out the truth, right? So you go to the trusted media. For example, we have in Indonesia we call Detik, we have Kompas. You will search in there. That's the basic behavior, right? You verify the news, right? So people still read when they are trying to verify the news. So these traditional media are the trusted media for the people to how do I say, to conquer whether this news is valid or not, right? Yeah, because yeah, something like that.
Okay. Now, I mean, like, then it also becomes I think the different culture, I would say, because
Yeah.
over here, like for example, if there's a news related to something that a government should be aware of, people don't go to the normal media here, but they go to the
Ah,
government website
yeah. Ah, I
because for
see.
them, the government website is more, let's say, trustworthy than the normal media. And then
Ah,
if there is something about a company, let's say, I think one of the biggest one recently was NS. That's a public transport here in Netherlands. When there is a lot of news about NS, actually they go to NS website. So I think it's just a different attitude or culture, how people perceive and consume information. So at least now I know how things work in Southeast Asia. Thank you.
All right.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Apologies. I just got some technical difficulties just now, but Okay, any questions? Please feel free to just open your mic and tell us who you are and from what institution you come from, and then just shoot the question. Or you can also type it on the chat section. But while waiting, another question for Ferry. Ferry and Feha, Ferry, of course. How do you work with PR department within your company's client when you have to distribute these press releases? Do you just hand them over and let them do their thing, or does it cover also the distribution?
Oh, from me, yeah, sorry, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So basically, so we have worked with we have worked with media and journalists. So actually, sir, some media would like to cover up the startup and the SMB news. So that's why we distribute to them. Okay,
Mm,
and they will publish the content. That's why we have guaranteed media. But also, how about the big media like Compass and everything? We make friend with the journalists by themselves. Okay, when we have a release from our customer can choose the category. For example, tech, sport, leisure, everything. And the journalists, we also give them a dashboard, which kind of news they want to receive, which category they want to receive. So that's why when they receive our news, they will read our news because it is what they are choose, right? So for example, they are in the sports. We send them only sports news. When they are in the lifestyle, we only send them lifestyle news. So that's why we give them the right report. So that's why they read mostly our press releases. Yeah.
all right. And then how about
Mm.
the PR department within the company? Do you work closely with them, or
Oh
I
yeah,
know
yeah,
I know not all company have a PR department, especially
yeah.
the small and medium enterprise. I don't think they have the budget to cover a PR, and so they're doing it. Of course, using a service from like Free Time. So how do you work with them in the PR
Ah,
department?
okay. So during in the PR department, yeah, for the startup and SME, mostly they are in the marketing department, and mostly it's in the online marketing or digital marketing, something like that. We used to work with them. The thing is that I told them like they thought that the startup and SME always thought that PR should be something that is big. Oh, I got funded, series A, series B. I said you don't have to be like that. PR is anything about your company news, as simple as you have renewed your website, for example, and then when you renewed your website, how will this be good to the customer? It will enhance their user experience, right?
Mm,
So that kind of thing you can announce. It is good for the society because you can enhance your customers, companies for the society's experience, right? So as simple as that, I told them, yeah. Mm.
okay, cool. All right. Any questions, guys? Let's make use. We still have like about 40 minutes for
I see
this.
one question, which is I don't
Okay,
know how to
okay.
answer because it's very specific to the bank. Do you know any information about this, Ferry?
Okay,
There's a
let me just read it. It's from Alvarez, Irish Merlin E. Alvarez, in Filipino, I assume. I have a question in regards with the selling of BRI solution to consumers. What is your current recovery time objective or RTO in case of a significant cybersecurity incident, Ferry?
Okay, so the BRI is coming from me, but the RTO maybe is related to so yeah, but the thing is that from my side, from my end, I don't have that kind of information of the RTO. Yeah, I only have the exam. I'm relating to the press release. So for the RTO, I don't have the data yet. Yeah. So,
All
but
right.
all right.
maybe from Ferry side,
No,
maybe we can change the topic to
I, I I
uh
I also don't have the information
no
because I
no,
don't
I mean
work
like
for the bank.
maybe like maybe what is the RTO the standard
Oh,
or
okay.
something.
All right.
Yeah, maybe
All
the,
right.
the general one. Yeah, maybe
All
that's
right.
more we can
All
talk
right.
about that.
All right. So again, when it comes to the exact information about BRI, I don't know, because it is normally an internal thing for the bank. We should invite someone from BRI. But in general, recovery time objective is, if something happened, what is a tolerable time that everything has to go back up again? For a banking environment, at least here in Europe, the average RTO is within less than 2 hours.
Whoa.
The reason being is because for most European bank, especially the national bank, a bank system is not operation within 1 hour. It already cost them almost hundreds of millions. The reason being is because maybe the transaction is not as many as in Asia, because the population here is not that many, but then the amount of each transaction is a lot. So, like for example, in a day, a transaction can already cost 1 billion euros. So, for example, like I again, one of my corporate life employer, I work for asset management company.
Mhm.
In terms of transaction, they only have 3 transactions a day, and they manage the whole pension money of the whole Netherlands, right? So they only have 3, max 4 transactions a day, but one transaction is somewhere always around 150 to 200 million. And then if, let's say, the bank system goes down, then when they try to bid a stock price, maybe it already goes up, right? So that information for most companies here are very crucial. That's why, at least in Europe, most banks for the RTO, they will go with 2 hours max. BRI,
2
I don't know.
hours.
BRI, I
2
don't know.
hours. But that's understandable. I mean, like, even like a couple of minutes, they would already lose like millions, I assume. Right.
Correct, especially in the society, and I would say it's also the same case, right, in Southeast Asia, where nowadays seems like everything is e-money,
Mm,
right? So the same here, like when most of the transactions are cashless. So if the bank doesn't connect, then actually public transport stops, supermarket stops, any transaction stops, and that
okay.
happened. I think in April, where the bank system, so the
Yep.
payment
Yep.
gateway to the bank,
Yep.
went down for 15 minutes. Almost the whole country collapsed.
Yep.
And it's not about a data breach or cyber attack. It's just they misconfigure something. So yeah,
Okay.
the
That's not even
RTO 2 hours is already too much, actually.
that's not even a cyber attack. All right.
No.
So I assume we can just keep the question coming in, please. You can type it on this chat section. Irish, I hope that answers your question about the RTO. Of course, when we talk about the specific company like BRI, that is another different, because that deals with their their internal policy. All right, we have one from Kevin Girsang. Hang on, let me just read it here. In our efforts to combat cyber security misinformation, how do you address the physical world factors, such as competing news cycles, public distrust in institution, limited access to information in rural areas, especially, and the influence of authoritative figures in offline communities that can cripple the effectiveness of press release and public communication? Specifically, what strategies do you use to ensure that accurate cyber information reaches all relevant stakeholders, especially in regions where digital access and trust in institution may be limited? That's an interesting question, especially because in this part of Asia, we have not yet reached the lower region, or where access is still limited. I'm not sure whether Starlink is already there, but that's another type of question. Over to you. Maybe Ferry can answer this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kevin, for your questions. Very interesting questions. So first of all, maybe I will talk from the first of all from the VRITIMES side. Okay, now VRITIMES, work with thousands of media and journalists, and then we also work not on the national level media, but we also work on the regional media. So, for example, we have media in Papua is a eastern part of Indonesia, or in the Nusa Tenggara Timur, we have worked with media over there, or in Sumatra, in the west side, or Kalimantan, we all have media over there. So that's why working with the local media helps, because people will also read the local media, online media. Now, the second of all is that, so like for example, in the case of other rural area, of course, we must people mostly have already get accustomed to the cell phones, right? Because if they have bank account, for example, like the BRI guys, they must have already some cell phones, or accustomed to cell phones. So that's why social media helps a lot, of course, also. So yeah, so we must enhance the power of social media as well, because nowadays everyone opens social media. So working with the local media and working with spread it in the social media will also helps the reach of the press release or the news we want to convey to our customers. Yeah.
So you make use also of the social media.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, like,
Yes.
you distribute the information to the social through the social
Ye-
media.
Yes. 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 We also have our LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Yeah. Mm.
All right, cool. Ferry, you have anything to add, especially when we're talking about public distrust?
Ferry or Ferha?
Feha, sorry.
Oh,
Feha.
all right.
I
See,
should
we
start
already
calling you
agreed
by your
in the
last name.
beginning.
Feha,
we
over to
we
you.
Ah,
we
yeah,
we,
all right,
we
all
we
right.
kept asking it. Just now I asked Mr. Rania, which ferry, and now you're asking which ferry.
I should start calling you Bayu and Haris instead.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Go
That's
ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
better. I think that. All right. So I think the answer is obvious, I would say. Okay. When it comes to so the difference, like I said, okay, in Europe, seems like people are still looking into a certain institution which is very powerful and trustworthy. Yeah, whether it's a government institution or an independent. I think mostly in Asia you call it as NGO, that they can refer to. So, but then it means that they do have trust in this institution.
Okay.
However, if in the case that you have distrust of this institution or the institution that's supposed to be trusted, I need to be careful now. I would say let's go back to what our Spider-Man says. With great power comes great responsibility, which
Okay.
means I always say that's the time when you have to work with your public figures. Especially nowadays, when people cannot trust an or several institution, who else they go to? Either their idols, their friends, even sometimes they distrust their family members, by the way. But at least the people that they look to, right? So then it means that my only wish to all public figures, whether it's like a media, television public figures, or just social media public figures, right? You do have great responsibilities because people trust you, people follow you. That large number of followers, sorry to say, is not just a media for you to sell to the biggest advertiser, hey, I would like to endorse your product.
Okay.
But what you say matters. And that's also the reason why, at least here, when we work with the client, especially when that client with the crypto exchange, when they work with influencer, I think that's what you call it, right? The marketing management invite us from security because they believe it is very important for them to explain to people that follow them the right information about the whole crypto industry, the company, and so on and so forth. So what they did is they invite all these influencers to their office, and they also invite us from security to tell them, guys, from a security point of view, sure, we are not going to let's say stop your creativity how you would like to introduce our product, but please remember, we would like you to focus on this security element, for example, because this is give us the trust. But then since it comes from your mouth or from your account, yeah, people will trust us much better than if we create our own content, for example. So that part of items is also something that many companies here is trying to do. Basically, invite all your influencer, and then really give them the right guidelines. Because in many cases, I think in the past, I hope it's in the past, you invite some influencers, and then your message is only one sentence: make it viral. Like, what to be made viral? Which part, which message? So I think as a business owner or as a leader in any organizations, when you want to involve any media, whether it's a press release or through social media influencers, my wish list is you also making sure what exactly the message, the right message that you would like to convey, not just, I don't know, I don't care, make it viral.
Right. Cool. A follow-up question for FEHA. You talked about cyber resilience, right? Can you like explain more about this? Because I assume, again, this is my assumption that it involves not only the stakeholders in the IT departments, but also everyone, including the companies, the workers. Am I percepting this correctly, or do you have any?
Yeah, correct. So let's start with this. Right. There is no such thing as 100% security.
Okay.
If there is anyone that comes to you that sell, I can guarantee you 100% security, run away. Yeah, let's start with that. That's
Okay,
fact number one.
I'm gonna quote that. Okay.
All right, please take a note. So that's number one. Number two, in this age, there is no line of work, line of activities that is not related to digital activities.
Okay.
Even people who sell food on the street, they also receive online orders, yes?
Yep.
Right? So it means they also living in digital world to a certain extent, right? So that's fact number two. And that's the reason why I'm
Okay.
focusing on cyber resilience, because whatever we do, if we don't have access to this digital world, that's our livelihood. So as a human being, how resilient it is for us to survive, to continue our life without access to this kind of tools. Then if we go back to your questions, how then we reflect this to a company? Yeah. Let's say, by the way, this is a very bad example, but I know this is happening a lot. All right. Let's say a company in your region said that, okay, our main communication tool within the team is Slack.
Okay. You still use
Even
it.
last year, or this year, how many
All right.
times Slack goes down,
All right.
right? If you are not resilient, you will say, business stop. Why? There is no Slack, right? But if you are resilient as a human being, okay, Slack goes down. Maybe I can just send him a WhatsApp.
Mhm.
unless WhatsApp also goes down. Yeah, that's a different story. But then that switching is what I call as resilient. Someone who is resilient is I have backups. So when people talk about backups, it's not about just about backup of data. Do I have backup to continue with my livelihood? If you always take bus, then there is a strike.
Yep.
You cannot go to work. Is that resilient? The answer is no, especially if your company is pushing you from working from office. If your company says that, I don't care, I don't know, you take taxi, you still come to work, in my opinion, that company is not resilient.
Right.
But then, if the company knows tomorrow there's a strike, they already work together with their facility management team or HR to say, hey guys, tomorrow there will be a strike. If you can work from home, work from home. If not, you can still come to office using taxi. This is the number of taxi, and you can reimburse back to the company.
Okay.
That is what we call as resilient, which means that if tomorrow there's a strike, your business still runs. And it's not just about system. Yeah. So in the example of bus, there is no system goes down, but people cannot come to your office. So if people cannot come to your office, do you already have your backup plans behind? In many terms, I know there are many IT students, I guess, in this session. This is what we call as business continuity plan. But that term is very IT, I would say, or disaster recovery plan. Yeah, that's also very IT.
Yep.
So now I just make it a resilient, because resilient can also means, from mental perspective. But basically, the easiest way to understand the whole concept is if you can switch quickly and easily, it means that you are resilient.
Okay. Sadly enough, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of company comes to you, FEHA, and Ferry Bayu after an incident happens, right?
Yes.
I'm quite sure you are familiar with that. So, talking about resilient, let me go back to Ferry Bayu. So, is there any kind of way you could also make use of these press releases to communicate the importance of misinformation and cybersecurity before it happens? I mean, like, rather than you just come to us and, hey, do a press release because we just had a cyber attack and then now everyone is talking bad about us. Is there any way you can do that, Ferry? Ferry, of course, not Feha. I'll come back to you,
Okay.
Feha.
Yeah. So, you mean like it means like so how to get the so before the cyber threat happens? Is that
Yes,
your question, sir?
exactly.
Okay, so maybe this needs to be worked out, so people needs to send out maybe the press release on how to get the how to get the the importance of cybersecurity, and this is more like an education, right? The
Exactly,
education of
exactly,
the company.
exactly.
How does it is importance for the company? So yeah, yeah, people needs to issue press release on how important the cybersecurity threat is, and then in order to do that, then like company like FEHA or other company can also issue press release like the importance of cybersecurity. And after that, people when they realize, then they will start to think about it and maybe start to enhance their cybersecurity, like maybe using FEHA's uh, you know service or something like that, yeah, or other
Mhm.
service as well, right? So the thing is that education, public education about this, knowledge about the customer to the
Cool.
customer, right?
All right. Okay, guys, we still have like about 15 minutes or so. So if you have any question, please feel free. Again, you can just open your mic or raise your hand or type it in the chat section. But
By the way, can I add something to
sure,
what Bayu
sure.
already said?
Oh, yes, yes. I should go back to you, of course, with that case. All right.
Please don't forget about me. No, I'm just kidding. No. So, but basically, Bayu mentioned also a very good introduction earlier about, guys, you can also use press release to introduce your product, new product, or enhancement to your product. Yes.
Yep.
Did you know that most of issues that comes with data breach actually comes from people who use the products incorrectly?
Okay.
So it means that actually, if you are going to release let's say, okay, we have a new product because the feature is blah, 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 you can also embed some messages. Because again, our message, let's say my, my ideal moonshot, let's put it like that, in the coming 5 years, I'll do this, okay? Normal people should not talk about cybersecurity. Normal people should not think about cybersecurity because they don't need to.
Okay.
But then, as a someone, let's say, as a vendor who creates something, right? It's our obligations to tell them what measure that they need to do without telling them it is cybersecurity. For example, I have a new product, right? Then I will explain, okay, this new product will have this is feature. It can help us to do A, B, C, D, E. Okay. Oh, by the way, please also turn on your if you go to settings and then blah blah blah, you can
Two
turn on this
factors.
one, and then you can use this feature more secure. So we are not telling people, hey, use MFA, hey, use MFA, hey, use MFA.
Mhm.
We are telling people, hey, if you still want to use my product, if you want to use this feature securely, don't forget to go to these features, and then telling people, okay, step by step, A, B, C, D, E. Then people will follow it without people like me keep bashing people, use secure password, use secure password. Because if not, people like me will end up as a broken record. Because since I started this profession 15 years ago,
Mhm.
until today, the message of use secure password is every day. To be very honest, sometimes I'm also tired,
Mhm.
right? So then instead of people like me or company like me telling people use secure password, actually, if you are working in the company producing whatever solutions that you have, whether it's social media or it's a game, yeah, please embed those items as well, because people will just follow it. Because I'm sorry, psychologically, people think that these are the steps that I need to do to follow to use the new feature.
Okay.
So that's also something a trick that we can use. The same like when I said, when we implement that magic link, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we also explain
FEHA,
that.
I'm losing you.
Oh, sorry,
Hello?
am
You're
I still here?
freezing.
No,
Hello.
actually good.
Oh, actually good. I keep doing this, but basically that's the whole idea. So if you can make use of press release as well to embed some of the items that you would like people to make use of. Rani, are you still there?
I think you have connection issue, yeah. Okay. So maybe February, you can take over or something. Yeah, maybe we can go if there's no more question. Is there any more questions or something? Okay, so do we have any more questions from the participants? Yeah, February, please. Yeah.
Everyone, if you have some question, we still have time. So anyone wants to ask the question while our speakers here, you can raise your hands or type in the chat. Oh, we have the running back. Welcome back. You good?
You're still on mute, sir.
Yeah, you're still muted. Oh, I think it's microphone setting.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, loud
All
and
right.
clear.
Apologies. I hope it's not cybersecurity issue here. Okay, I'm gonna. Do we have any other questions? Please
I don't
feel
think so.
to. No, I don't see any question here. All right. Well, while waiting for your question, maybe you're still gathering your thoughts together. Let me just maybe towards the end of this discussion, I would like to do some kind of a simulation, maybe, and I want you all to join in with your opinion, of course. So I have a company, and I just have a problem because some hacker just breached into my server and stole all data of my clients. So naturally, I would run to FEHA first, fix it. I want you to fix it. And then, of course, I will run to Bayo and Ferry Bayo and said, look, my company's name is in jeopardy here. So what do I have to do? I don't know whether you always experience this, FEHA, but maybe we start from FEHA. What would you do if a company come with you already damaged in a way? What would you do, FEHA?
We would say good luck.
Good luck.
Just kidding. Now, so we always said that, please get ahead of it,
Okay.
which means people will eventually realize, right? So before they do that, the CEO have to openly say in his online profile that we are experiencing something.
Okay.
We don't know the details, but we will come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is no such thing that people will know everything what's happening in the first few hours. No, investigation takes hours. So that's the first thing that I always tell everybody, especially the CEO. You have to get ahead of it.
Okay.
You have to show in front of people as you, not as a company, as you, as the CEO. Number two, the CEO as well have to update the public at least every 3 hours or every hour. If basically if there is a progress, sure you shouldn't tell everybody everything about the technical details, but do not wait until the next day I give you an update or the next week I give you an update. No, people are working this and that's the reason why that is the first thing that I always tell everybody. Sure, there will be your marketing team handle your company communication, whether it's social and then goes through a company like VRITIMES to explain what the company is experiencing. But the first thing that I always tell, the CEO has to come down, be in front of everybody. Why? Because nowadays people listen to other people, not so much on the organization or institution. So if you are a leader, please do not send your managers, by the way. If you are a top leader of any organization, whether it's your leader of a university, whether you are leader of NGO even, you are during crisis, you are the face of everything.
Okay. Cool. So not just good luck. Very,
That's another one. And then after that, good luck.
Very by what would you do in this situation? And guys, feel free to jump in, every one of you in the audience. What would you do? I mean, like, this is a good learning experience for us too, because we are learning from the best from these two gentlemen who have like tons of experience, years of experience. So, Ferry, over to you.
Okay, so thank you. So first of all, yeah, at least yeah, what Ferry Harris said, that it's true. You have to keep them updated. But in terms of press release, so if something bad happens, as a company or an institution, you should be sincere. Sincere means that you acknowledge that you don't try to say like, oh, this is not my fault, or oh, I mean like, oh, I don't know this, it's not my fault. But this thing happened, it's in your company, then be sincere. Yeah, it's happened, we are sorry for that, and you will get the people's sympathy for that, right? Getting the sympathy is the most important thing. Yeah, we are sorry that after you said, this happens, what is your mitigation plan, right? So we are doing this and this. So that is the most important. To first you get the sympathy, and second you get the assurance that, oh, my data is safe, my data is being taken care of. So 2 point, that is the most important thing. Yeah, you apologize, and then what are you going to do next in order to prevent this from happening, or in order to at least save some part of it or something. Maybe you cannot save 100%, but at least you can do something in order to save this situation. Yeah, that's the point.
And
The point is how to get the sympathy of the public, right? I mean, like, and that, yeah.
fully agree. And then plus, don't blame the intern, because that's the most root cause analysis I've ever read. The intern do X, so all blames goes to the intern.
And
Don't
one
do
thing
that.
that I really hate is every time we have a problem, it's a technical problem. We have to say, sorry guys, we have a technical problem, and then the IT guys comes barking at me. It's like nothing's wrong with our department. So that's another thing. So okay, I noticed some interesting point here about you have to be honest. Like it's transparency. So at which level do we have to be transparent to the public? Maybe Ferry by you first. To what extent can we be transparent to the public when it comes to a problem within a company?
Well, it depends on the yeah we on the on the internal communication, but we can have like you don't have to tell the exact 100% data, right? So for example,
Yep.
oh, our 1 million data have been breached. You don't have to do something like that. You can say that our data have been breached, and then we are sorry for that, and we are trying to fix this by doing this. So yeah, we tell them that something happens, but no need, to get the exact data. But we are trying that this thing happened, and we are trying to solve it. So the point is that we deliver the negative news, but as soft as possible. But when we try to enhance the positive news as much as possible, so that's what we are trying to have here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, about
No, I
transparency.
agree with that.
To what extent?
I agree with that. We try to soften the blow. Let's call it like that. My recommendation is always, especially during the beginning of the issue, use less of a number.
Come again?
So
Sorry.
like use less of number.
Okay.
So like Feriba, you said, we have a breach. We don't say how many percent, how much data breach. No, we have a breach. We are working on it. Towards the end, after you complete your investigations, after you know exactly what you are going to do and you have a solid plan, and only then you can use numbers. If the numbers is so bad, then you play around with, sorry, statistics, right? So instead of, okay, 1 million data is breached, maybe this 1 million is only 5% out of whatever. Then you use the 5%. You know, then you kind of get that balance between, yes, we have a breach, but it's not that, like, the world ends tomorrow situation. And then you start from that. So I'm not saying that you never tell people about this, but you gradually tell people this. And then the first thing that you have to do is never tell numbers, especially in the beginning, until you know the whole story. That maybe this 1 million, it sounds bad when you first hear about it. And actually it's only, let's say, 2%, 1% of your total population. Unless it was like, the other issue where, everything's gone, that's a different story. Yeah, but then even in that case, you still can soften the blow by using less of a number.
Okay. Well, what happens if it deals with client data? I mean, like thousands of data breach loose somewhere or kept by some hacker and whatever. Of course, naturally, people will panic, right? We know what happened to the data breach to the Ministry of to one of the ministries. Sorry, I shouldn't mention. So
Be careful.
so what would you do in that case? I mean, like, because if you ask me as a public, then I was like, that's my data, man.
I know, and I think that's the. So this answer is something that people won't like. As
Okay.
much as we, as user, would like to say, hey, you collect my data, hey, you store my data, you are responsible for everything.
Mhm.
That's not how the real world works. In any digital environment, there is a principles that we call as shared responsibility.
Okay.
They have responsibility. You as user also have responsibility. And that comes my discussion about being resilient. Every month I always get a notification from somewhere that my data is breached, my username and password is compromised on a certain breach. But do I panic? No. Why? Because I know, I'm not saying that because I'm security professional, no.
Mhm.
Because at least I know that in all of these online services, I already activate my multi-factor authentication. So if they got my password, fine. But they will never get into the system because they don't have my multi-factor authentication. It's in my phone, for example.
Mhm.
And then if they try to breach my other accounts, because I know for sure I'm using password manager, I know for sure every single account will have a different password. So
Okay.
yes, my data got breached, my data is lost, but I'm not panicked because I've done my part.
Shared responsibility.
So at least that's the part that I always tell people.
Mhm.
In this digital world, there's always what we call as shared responsibility. You don't need to be an expert in cybersecurity, because as long as you do what we call as basic cyber hygiene,
Mhm.
like secure password, multi-factor authentications, make sure that everything's always unique, more than 80% of the cases you will be just fine. Then you are resilient enough, because when that happen, okay, my life can move on. I'll just change the password and then I update my multi-factor authentication. So things like that.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. So we are approaching the end of this discussion, but I'm not going to leave this room before before I ask each one of you to give some kind of a closing statement. So you have like around 2 minutes to provide your closing statement related to what we have been discussing today. Maybe we can start from Ferry Bayu. Over to you, sir.
Wait. Oh, I'm still mute. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone. I think that it's been a very fruitful discussion, and then thank you everyone for coming to this webinar, and then thank you Feha, Ferry Harris also, and Mr. Rane for hosting the event as well. Yeah, I think that from my end is that from the perspective of press release is that you can leverage press release in order to convey your company's message. And if you have regarding cybersecurity or everything, threat or something, you can use press releases as a means to counter the negative news around there, around what is happening, in order to make the positive for your company. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Mm.
Feha?
Yeah, so for me, I think I'll get back to the earlier part of my presentation, right? Cybersecurity is typically very technical, right?
Mhm.
We have to talk about cyber resilience. And when it comes to misinformation, especially when it comes to misinformation, it's everybody's job, at least to be the agent of information for people who needs to handle it. Make everyone a champion as in, like, do not make it difficult for people to report, and involve them to be your champion about your company in the public.
Yeah.
I think it's no longer time when companies say, hey, my employees do not use social media and do not talk about our company.
Mhm.
I would say encourage your employees, encourage your team members, be the voice of your company,
Mhm.
because if you only focus on your marketing team, maybe it's only one voice.
Yep.
But if you have, let's say, 300 employees, then you have 300 voices.
Cool. And do not blame the intern.
And do not blame the intern. Yes. Thank you.
All right, guys, let me just summarize a bit about what we've been discussing today. So, cybersecurity misinformation is a growing problem in today's digital world. And now, this type of misinformation includes false or misleading information about cybersecurity threats, attacks, or weaknesses. It can spread quickly online, causing confusion and reducing trust among people, definitely among customers and organization. Now, to fight against this problem, companies need to use effective communication strategies. One of the best tools for this is a press release, a written statement shared with the public or media to provide clear and reliable information when there is a lot of false information circulating. So press releases are essential in fighting cybersecurity misinformation because they come directly from the organization, making them a trusted source of information. In times of confusion or crisis, in times of confusion or crisis, a well-written press release can help set the record straight by explaining the facts, correcting any false information, and sharing the organization's official viewpoints of the issue. This helps to reduce confusion, reassure the public, and maintain trust, definitely. So, with that, I would like to thank you for the two panelists. It's almost 10 a.m. in Netherlands right now. So you can go and get your nasi goreng, Feha.
Thank
And
you.
of course, for the audience, yes, there is a certificate. There is a link in the chat where you can click on it and you get more information about that. And of course, we have to take photos first. So would you mind, guys, opening your cameras so we can like do a photo session together with all the panelists? There's like almost 90 people here. Cool. All right. We're seeing more cameras opening. Kevin, oh, that's you, Kevin. Thank you. All right. Everybody's camera is open. And don't forget to click the link in the chat section there if you are asking about certificates. All right. Wow. I see a lot of audience from the Philippines here. I miss Philippines. Okay, Nora, Bernadette, everyone. Okay, ready? So let's take a photo together. This is a modern kind of photo shoot.
All right, so we have 4 pages here. I will start from the first. Anyone ready? 1, 2, and then we go to the second one. 1, 2. Okay, another. One more. All good, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Ferry Harris from FEHA International Consulting. Thank you, Ferry Bayu from Free Times Inc. And with that, my name is Rane Hafid. Thank you very much. And of course, we'll see you in any other discussion event or webinar events by Free Times on, and of course, by FEHA International Consulting. Thank you very much. And you have a good weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye bye.